Right now at 6, authorities in southwest Missouri charge a suspect in a fatal hit and run.
And we've got some showers out there this morning, and we'll see a few more showers for at least some of us with remnants of Beryl. Others, we're going to start to clear out and warm up. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the city of Joplin throws a financial lifeline to future homeowners.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday here in the 4 states. Got some heavy rain with some of the showers and storms we saw yesterday. And we're getting some decent amounts, at least some moderate rain out there now for some of us as Beryl continues to lift off to the northeast. Now, the main point of circulation will stay away from us, but we're on just the far northwestern edges where we're getting some of that activity out there. Let's start with a look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. It is cloudy. We had some rain showers earlier on the east side of town, but those, at least for now, have stopped. And we take a look on the east side of town from 7th and Rangeline, our camera there, and we're looking fairly good, already beginning to dry up. It's still some wet spots. Again, it rained on that camera location, but not the one downtown. MoDOT camera 32nd and Rangeline looking pretty good this morning as well. So here's the look. All of this, believe it or not, is the remnants of Beryl. Now, the main point of circulation is still well to our south, and the main point of circulation with Beryl, the center, is going to remain to our south and east, but we're going to be just close enough that we're going to continue to get in some of these rain bands. So now Berry County is included in a flood watch out there. Still getting some moderate rain, Cassville, Monette, Mount Vernon. So really along and to the east of I-49 right now is where we're seeing the rainfall. Osceola, Stockton, Greenfield, Mount Vernon as well. And there's that point. It's down here to the west of Little Rock. And so we're again getting on those northern bands here. Now, once it continues to lift off a little to the east-northeast, it could trigger some isolated to widely scattered pop-up showers and storms through the afternoon, mainly along and to the east of the 69 corridor. Most of us will remain dry out there as Beryl continues to kind of wind down in our area. So the further west you are, you may be a little warmer than the rest of us, but otherwise not a bad day ahead of what's going to be a very unpleasant week next week as the dangerous heat makes a return. Temperatures this morning, not bad, mid-upper 60s and some low 70s out there for us today. As we head through the afternoon, most of us into the low to mid 80s for our highs. Again, we've got the showers this morning, in between some isolated pop-up showers and storms, mainly along and east of the 69 corridor. And then we'll begin to dry out and clear out overnight tonight. As I mentioned, though, the dangerous heat will begin to return to the area. We'll look at all those details in the full forecast a little later. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon. Authorities say a pedestrian who was killed on I-44 yesterday might have been hit by more than one vehicle. The crash occurred around 4 yesterday morning in Ottawa County. Troopers responded to the report of a man lying in the inside lane of the westbound traffic. Investigators say a vehicle that stopped at the scene did not appear to be the first that hit the man, but the first vehicle is unknown. The victim has been identified as 63-year-old Edward Parker of Cuba, Missouri. He died at the scene. Newton County, Missouri authorities charge a man in a fatal hit and run from Friday night. Witnesses say a Dodge Dakota driven by Richard Taylor of Racine, Missouri, went off the Douglas Fir Road near Loma Linda, Missouri, and struck the victim, Sheldona Wood of Joplin. A bolo was issued for the truck after it left the scene. Newton County prosecutors have filed a number of charges against Taylor, including felony DWI, death of another person, and felony leaving the scene of accident. Well, an appellate court ends the criminal case against the former defense attorney of a Northeast Oklahoma prison drug lord. Yesterday, the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals dismissed the state's final appeal in the legal battle with Winston Connor, a prominent criminal defense attorney based out of Jay, Oklahoma. This ruling brings an end to a case that began in November 2018 when Connor was indicted on 10 charges, including racketeering, assault with a dangerous weapon, pandering, witness intimidation, distribution of controlled substances, and illegal communication with an inmate, the notorious Oklahoma drug lord, Slint Tate. In 2018, a federal judge tacked on 20 years to Tate's life sentence for operating a multi-state drug ring from prison, a drug ring that allegedly netted sales of up to $1 million a week. You can read more on both cases on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Some people living in Forsyth, Missouri say sewage is spilling over in their neighborhood. One woman claims the city isn't doing anything about it, but city leaders say they are addressing the problem. Becky Sanders says it all started back in April of 2023. One day while taking a moment to relax on her deck, she says the foul odor of sewage filled the air. As the smell worsened, she called City Hall. Sanders believes this stench is caused by improper maintenance to the lift station located behind her home.
Drains have a horrible smell to them. Sometimes when we turn on our water, you get just a blast of sewage smell. And this has been an ongoing problem. Our lift station that the city has on our property has leaked sewage 6 times now.
We have a constituent issue here that the guys have been working on for some time. They have incrementally tried to put the pieces of the puzzle together. We take constituent requests very seriously, and we're going to respond to them.
Inspectors say crews were out working yesterday to try to find the exact problem and resolve it. The city of Joplin throws a financial lifeline to future homeowners. The Joplin Homebuyers Assistance Program, or JHAP2, offers funds up to $40,000 per household. To qualify for the funds, potential homeowners must purchase a home within the city of Joplin, be a Joplin citizen, and annual income cannot exceed more than $93,000 a year. Yesterday marked the first of 3 grant-funded housing programs launched by the city this year to strengthen neighborhoods and boost investment.
The JHAP program gives people the ability up to $40,000, and that can be quite a down payment for them. It allows them to come in and maybe afford a house more than what they actually were going to want to start with. So,
the first round of JHAP launched after the 2011 tornado. The program will remain open as funding is available or until the application deadline closes in early 2026. Well, yesterday was the first day of Pitt State's summer robotics camp. The program will introduce middle school students to robotics and programming basics. The program hopes to spark an early interest in STEM and help kids develop skills they can use in college. At the end of the program, the students will put their skills to the test and compete in a robotics contest.
The kids love it because, of course, it's working with Legos, doing basic robotics to do kind of fun tasks. But we try to help them be able to figure out how these skills will engage beyond the classroom into their lives as they go on.
The camp runs through the end of the week. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Walmart faces a class action lawsuit over allegations it engaged in deceptive pricing in its stores. Plus, today the world is watching Washington, where President Joe Biden is hosting the NATO summit. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Vernon County Fairgrounds. Topping Nation Watch this morning. According to the Transportation Security Administration, this July 4th holiday weekend hit a new all-time travel record. The TSA says it screened upwards of 3 million passengers for the first time ever on Sunday. Travelers flooding through checkpoints nationwide as people return from Independence Day trips. It shattered the previous record set last month when just under 3 million passengers were screened on June 23rd. American Airlines said it too expected to see record numbers Sunday with nearly 775,000 customers across more than 6,500 flights. There were some disruptions, though, due to Hurricane Beryl. According to data from FlightAware, nearly 700 flights were canceled Sunday. FlightAware showed another nearly 1,400 flights canceled Monday. Walmart must face a class action lawsuit over allegations it engaged in deceptive pricing in its stores. That's according to a federal appeals court ruling from last week, which reversed a lower court ruling. In the lawsuit, an Ohio man says he purchased more than a dozen items from a Walmart store in Illinois in 2022. But the man claims prices for some of the items rung up 10 to 15% higher than the shelf price. The lawsuit also alleges that there were similar discrepancies in stores in 5 other states. A judge dismissed the case last year and ruled Walmart negated any unfairness caused by inaccurate shelf prices by providing receipts after purchases. As a result of last week's ruling, consumers can now try to prove the retail giant violated consumer protection laws. Alec Baldwin is going to be in a Santa Fe, New Mexico courtroom today, where jury selection begins. The actor is facing manslaughter charges in the shooting death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of the film Rust. A judge in New Mexico denied a pair of motions from the actor's attorneys last week. His defense team claimed prosecutors mishandled evidence procedures related to the case. Baldwin's legal team say since the weapon in question was destroyed from FBI forensic testing, it was no longer possible to recreate the examination. They add this lack of evidence played a factor in trial preparations. However, in a motions hearing Monday, the judge handed the Baldwin team a victory. The judge ruled Baldwin's role as a producer on the film will not be considered during the trial. Well, today the world is watching Washington, where President Joe Biden is hosting the NATO summit. It comes as the president is trying to put the debate over his debate performance 2 weeks ago to rest, telling members of his party that he is firmly committed to staying in the race. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump is also back on the campaign trail later this evening as speculation grows over who he'll pick as a running mate. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
As the NATO summit kicks off today in Washington, President Joe Biden is working to end speculation over his health.
Has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No.
After declining to say why Dr. Kevin Kennard, a neurologist and Parkinson's specialist, had visited the White House 8 times in 8 months, last night, the president's personal physician sent a memo revealing Kennard had only examined Biden as part of his annual physical, adding the doctor also sees military personnel patients at the White House. This comes as the president himself has grown more defiant against calls from within the party that he drop out of the 2024 race.
We would be better off with another nominee.
If any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce for president. Challenge me at the convention.
Biden also picking up support from more progressive Dems.
The matter is closed. He is in this race, and I support him.
In a series of recent calls with donors and lawmakers, the president maintained he's still the best candidate to beat former President Donald Trump this November. Former President Trump holds his first campaign event in over a week later today, with speculation growing over who he'll pick for his vice president. Last night, he told Fox News he'll announce soon.
I haven't made final decision, but I have some ideas as to where we're going.
This ahead of next week's Republican convention in Milwaukee. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Back to this week's NATO summit, the president is set to have his first meeting with the new British Prime Minister on Wednesday. On Thursday, another big test with President Biden expected to hold his first solo news conference on U.S. soil in several months. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're starting with a quick look at the Skywatch storm tracker. Still got some showers from the remnants of Beryl along and east of I-49, and it'll continue to lift off to the northeast and bring a few additional isolated showers out there. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
An Indiana medical clinic is taking a unique approach to put patients at ease. The clinic has 2 French bulldogs that serve as a source of comfort for those undergoing treatment. Raina Ravel has details.
The Integrative Medicine Laser and Aesthetics Clinic focuses on harnessing the ability of dogs to alleviate stress and create a calming environment for patients with the help of Frank and Stella.
I think my largest was when always going in for physicals and things like that. The first thing was, well, we have these vaccines and shots and flu shots, and I just don't.
Dr. Shanji Pabla is the visionary behind this initiative, explaining that studies have illustrated the therapeutic benefits of interacting with pets, especially dogs.
So I started the practice and I thought, how interesting would it be to have animals in our practice to help kind of that calming atmosphere, but not only help our patients, but our employees.
For many patients, visiting a doctor can be a source of significant stress. To ensure a comprehensive appointment experience, Dr. Pabla brought the energetic duo in.
When people realize you're a dog lover, they're a dog lover, they instantly feel better talking to you. Some of our visits are 2 hours long, some of them are an hour long.
Anita Roche says it has fostered a sense of community and support for her family while seeking medical care.
Think of the places where they take to nursing homes, and it makes people happy. Obviously, if you're not an animal lover, I love them, and it's like they're my first thing, and if you're anxious about something, they come greet you.
In a world of stress and uncertainties, these dogs show that healing encompasses more than just physical treatments.
There's a lot of research and literature out there connecting things like, for example, gut health with mental health.
Well, Frank and Stella are the perfect doctor's assistants. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, got some cloudy skies out there for some of us this morning. Again, we've got the remnants of Beryl going to be sliding off to our south and east, bringing a few additional showers across the area. Not quite like what we saw yesterday with the flash flooding, but nonetheless, we're not quite done with the rain yet either. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:23 on this Tuesday morning. We're starting with a live look from our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. We got mostly cloudy skies out there. Had some rain showers earlier in Joplin. Dry for the moment. Our camera, 7th and range line. Again, just another view of those clouds out there. And these clouds, as you can see also on the MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line, are from what remains of what was Hurricane Beryl. And we've had some rain showers. Again, it's kind of drying out in the Ocho, but still dealing with the cloud cover of the MoDOT camera down there. So here's a look. There's where the best shower activity is. Again, it's mainly east of the 49 corridor for now. So Cassville, Monette, Mount Vernon, getting in on some activity, just getting ready to exit the Bentonville area. Osceola, Stockton, Greenfield, also dealing with some of those showers. And we are going to have an opportunity for some additional development as the main center of circulation with Beryl continues to lift off to the north and east. So what does it look like on the future track? It looks like most of us are going to be dry today. The better opportunities for a pop-up shower storm are going to be along into the east of the 69 corridor out there. Not expecting any severe weather. And like yesterday, we didn't get any severe weather, but we did get some torrential rainfall. Some of these little pop-up storms could produce some heavy rain briefly, and then as we head later into the evening hours, those will begin to clear out, and then we will all begin to clear out and start the process of warming up. So let's take a look at the latest on Beryl right now. Now just a tropical depression. Winds now down to 30 miles an hour with the center now just to the north and east. It's really now, I don't think this is fully updated yet, but the center now is a little more due west of Little Rock. So we are up here, and we're going to continue to be on the northwestern edge of those bands, and that's why we've been seeing some of those showers and storms out there. By 1 o'clock this afternoon, here it is, almost due east of Joplin, really due east of Branson near West Plains. And so again, that's what's going to allow us to have that trigger for some additional pop-up showers and storms. By tomorrow morning at 1 o'clock, it's near Champaign, Illinois, and on its way out of here as we go through the rest of the week. All right, here in Joplin, mostly cloudy skies, 69. Northeast breeze at 6, and temperatures this morning reasonable. And for those who aren't going to get rain today, I know it's going to be warm, but definitely get out, enjoy it, do what you need to today, because when I show you the 7-day or the 10-day, you're going to understand what we're talking about with some dangerous heat returning to the area. Right now, though, upper 60s and low 70s. Well, some isolated showers and across the area again this morning, initially east of the I-49 corridor, and we'll be about the mid 70s by 11. Into the afternoon, along and east east of the 69 corridor, a pop-up shower or storm possible. Otherwise, the majority of us partly cloudy, highs into the low 80s. And those isolated pop-up showers and storms could continue again east of 69 through the evening, and then they'll clear out, all of us going mostly clear tonight, back into the mid-60s. Or a little warmer tomorrow, upper 80s, low 90s on Thursday, clearing out heading into the weekend, and temperatures climbing as well. And then take a look at next week. Yeah, we got some pop-up storm chances, but we also have temperatures climbing back to dangerous levels into the lower 100s. That's checking your forecast. Now here's Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, it's a mixed bag for children's nutrition scores. A study in JAMA Pediatrics found total dietary quality scores for kids in the U.S. The scores improved overall in a 15-year period ending in 2020, but that bump up was small. Lower socioeconomic status has been associated with poorer dietary quality, and researchers found an increased trend more pronounced among Black children. A new study out of Weill Cornell Medicine and New York Presbyterian backs RSV vaccination during late pregnancy in order to protect newborns. Using real-world data, researchers found vaccinating mothers against RSV was not associated with an increased risk of preterm birth or other poor outcomes. Infants are especially vulnerable to RSV. Almost half of U.S. counties have no practicing cardiologist, and that's despite having a higher prevalence of cardiovascular risk factors. An analysis published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found such desert for cardiac care were likely to be rural with lower household income, greater uninsured levels, and worse access to healthy food and primary care doctors. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, we'll learn about some of the items slated to be on the ballots in Missouri and Kansas next month.
And we've got some cloud cover out there as the remnants of Beryl continue to lift off to the northeast, staying out of here, but still impacting our weather slightly. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, some area kids hit the great outdoors with a trip to Camp Wildcat in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. Tuesday morning here in the 4 states, and it's already July 9th.
Yes.
Had some very heavy rainfall yesterday for some folks.
Very heavy
came
rainfall.
Out of nowhere. So we have some flash flood warnings pop up yesterday. I mean, it didn't come out of nowhere.
Right.
We knew what was going.
It just hit hard really fast.
But yeah, it rained a lot in a short order of time for some people, and we could see a small repeat of that again as we head into the afternoon hours today. So let's start first with the cloudy skies, and you can see those from our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. It is quite cloudy out there. Had some rain showers in Joplin earlier. Right now, the bulk of the rain to the east of the city, really east of I-49. There's a MoDOT camera. 32nd and Rangeline, dry again for the time being. Got a stray shower out here in Lebec County. Otherwise, the bulk of the heavier rain off to the east of I-49. So Manette, Cassville, Mount Vernon getting in on some of this more moderate rainfall. No thunderstorm activity at this point, but some good rainfall falling for sure. Osceola, Stockton, Greenfield. It's been in this area all morning, so do be aware. Watch out for the potential for flash flooding. We don't have any flash flood warnings at this point, but this rain has really not moved a lot over the last several hours. So the center of circulation with Beryl really just about due west of Little Rock now, and this activity will continue to lift off to the north and east and will bring at least an opportunity for some pop-up showers and storms similar to what we saw yesterday along and east of the 69 corridors we had through the afternoon into the evening. So as you can see, not everybody will see rain. It's a narrow little swath here that will have that opportunity. The only difference between yesterday and today, I think, is as Beryl's moving a little further away, the activity we see will be a little bit more limited than what we saw yesterday. We had quite a few of these pop-up storms yesterday, not nearly as many expected today. Temperatures this morning, pretty good so far out there, upper 60s and low 70s. And for those not getting rain, especially out to the west, if you got something you need to get done today, today's a great day to do it, as we've got dangerous heat returning next week. Again, isolated pop-up shower storm for people along and east of the 69 corridor. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies and temperatures into the low to mid 80s. We'll talk more about your forecast and when that dangerous heat returns and just how hot it's going to get here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Right. Thanks, Chris. With the holiday weekend behind us, the countdown is on to the August 6th primary. And in Missouri, mail-in voting is already underway. Ballots in Missouri will include 2 proposed amendments to the state constitution. Amendment 1 would make places that provide child care outside of the home exempt from property taxes. It's not clear how much that could impact local tax revenues. Amendment number 4 would allow the state legislature to require a city to increase the minimum funding for a police force established by a state board of police commissioners. This specifically would impact Kansas City's police force, which is the only police department governed at the state level. Kansas has no amendments on the ballot, but a number of candidates want your vote for the U.S. congressional seat in the 2nd District. 5 Republicans and 2 Democrats are competing for their party's nomination. We interviewed all 7 of those candidates covering such topics as immigration, inflation, and abortion. You can see those interviews unedited on our website. Be sure to download the KOAM News app for all of your election needs. You can also go to our website for election information at koamnewsnow.com/elections. The website will include resources for all of the 4 state areas, such as polling places, deadlines, dates, and you can even check to see if you're registered to vote. Once again, that's koamnewsnow.com/elections. Well, some kids in Joplin enjoyed the great outdoors while learning about nature. Yesterday, the Wildcat Glades Nature Group hosted its 2nd annual Camp Wildcat. Students learned about wildlife, plants, rocks, and more through hands-on activities. They also learned some skills to safely explore the outdoors.
Camp is really important to connect kids to nature, and it's also important for them to get good outdoor skills. We also just want kids to learn about the park and enjoy it as well.
The camp runs through Wednesday, but required pre-registration. The Grove Public Library gave patrons a place to cool off and a cool place to take in a movie. Kids of all ages could hit the library yesterday for a Monday matinee. The fun-filled family experience even came with free complimentary popcorn and cold bottles of water.
We do a variety of programs for families, arts and crafts, STEM programs. We bring in presenters that do magic shows and animals, you name it.
Yesterday's movie was Wish. The program runs every Monday in July. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Johns Hopkins Medical School will be free starting this fall. We'll have the details. And we have another warm and cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Vernon County Fairgrounds. In Consumer Watch this morning, Johns Hopkins Medical School will be free starting this fall thanks to a $1 billion donation from Bloomberg Philanthropies. Medical students whose families earn less than $300,000 will be free, with living expenses and fees also covered for students whose families earn up to $175,000. The gift is aimed at diversifying the healthcare field and making it more accessible to low-income students. Previously, tuition at Johns Hopkins was $65,000 a year. Well, starting next week, it's going to cost more to mail a letter. The price of a forever stamp is increasing from 68 to 73 cents. This is the 2nd price hike for forever stamps this year. And Target says that starting July 15th, it will no longer accept personal checks from shoppers. The retail giant points to a shift in consumer preferences towards digital payment methods like Zelle and Venmo and away from personal checks. A survey from Go Banking Rates found that about 1 in 5 people over 66 years old write several checks each month, while about half of people under 55 don't write a single check the entire year. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're starting with this. It's a look of our camera from the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Got those clouds out there, as you can see, kind of lifting off to the east, to the west from the east, and that's because the remnants of Beryl still down to our south with the center of circulation, but it's been producing some rain up in our area and did so yesterday as well. Helped contribute to some of that flash flooding that we saw. And MoDOT camera 32nd in range line again, dealing with the cloud cover today. We've got the heavier showers again right now, at least east of I-49. So Cassville, Monette, Mount Vernon, dealing with some heavier rainfall out there, stretching as far north as Osceola, Stock, and Greenfield. So here's the other thing, though, is this activity hasn't really moved a lot over the last couple of hours. So do watch out for flash flooding. We don't have any flash flood warnings at this point, but you still want to be cautious out there just in case as the remnants of Beryl continue to lift off to the northeast. That could bring some isolated to widely scattered pop-up storms, mainly in between almost the I-49 and US 69 corridors. We head through the afternoon and into the evening hours across the area. It's going to be our best window. So this zone here, the rest of us dry and a little bit warmer today. Temperatures this morning starting off at a pretty nice pace, upper 60s, low 70s, so not a bad start to the day whatsoever. And we're going to start to warm into the low 80s a little later as well. We're going to take a full look at your forecast here in just a moment and talk about some dangerous heat returning next week. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Anthony Mason takes us to Dollywood for a personal tour of the new Dolly Parton experience with the one and only Dolly Parton herself, who reflects on her iconic 5-decade career. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Tuesday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we're going to start with Wyatt Dooley celebrating birthday number 3. Happy birthday.
And a happy 8th birthday to Jay Swafford. It says here, happy golden birthday, Jay. Wishing you the best year yet.
And in Carthage, Braxton Hudson celebrating birthday number 14. Says, happy birthday, Bub. Love Mom, Dad, and Harley.
And over in Baxter Springs, happy 17th birthday to Noah Sparks.
And in Liberal, Carrie Meadows celebrating birthday number 40. Says, we love you, Carrie, from Meemaw, Gary, and Leanne.
Happy 48th birthday to Matt Dietz in Weir.
And in Altamont, Mary Hayward celebrating birthday number 54. Happy birthday, Uma, from your forgetful husband, Orion, Braden, Rayleigh, and Charlie.
And a happy 57th birthday to Troy Carson over in Pittsburgh.
And in Liberal, John Nicholas celebrating birthday number 58. Says, happy birthday, John, from your buddies Neva, Gary, Leanne, and Ruth.
And over in Baxter Springs, happy 58th birthday to Rita Briggins. It says, hope your birthday is an amazing one from all your friends, Sherry, and all your kids and grandkids.
And in Fredonia, Dr. Tanya Hill celebrating another year wiser, pictured with her daughter Eden. Happy birthday.
And happy birthday to KOAM's receptionist, personal assistant to Mr. Food, and the best popcorn chef there is,
Absolutely.
Helen Kelly. Happy birthday, Helen.
She keeps us fed and she answers the phones.
And she's
for
just
us.
the sweetest.
Oh, she absolutely is. She is everything you need all in one person.
There you go.
Conveniently
absolutely.
located at our front desk. Well, our list continues going into Pittsburgh with Corbin Blackburn celebrating birthday number 30. Happy birthday.
And last but not least, happy 22nd birthday to Andre Appleton over in Chetopa.
All right. If you would like to celebrate your birthday or anniversary with us, you need to send them in. Elise, where do they need to send them to?
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@koamnews.now.com. Be sure to include any photos or messages that you would like to include in there. And when you're submitting your celebration, also be sure to include the date as well.
Yes, that way it airs on the appropriate date, because if you don't put a date on when the birthday is and you mail it in say today, then we're going to presume it must be tomorrow. That's why you're sending it in today, so that's why it's important to include a date on there as well, in case you're forgetful, like myself, and you want to send it in maybe a week early so you don't forget. Make sure you tell us it's going to be next week. All right, let's start with this. This is another view from outside. Again, our camera on top of the Cornell complex, downtown Joplin. Got some clouds out there drifting off to the west from the east, and that is because of the remnants of Beryl. We'll get to in just a moment. Just another view of those clouds, 7th and Range Line in Joplin. Now, earlier, it was dry on our Cornell camera, and it was raining here on our camera at 7th and Range Line. So we got some showers very early this morning on the east side of town, but the further west you went, it was dry. MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range Line, looking pretty good as well. Same from the MoDOT camera down in Neosho, 60 and 59, looking back to the west. Again, a little more rainfall earlier in Neosho as well, but has since stopped, but that will change once again later today, or at least it has a chance to change. Now, here's a look. So we're getting a few showers developing a little further west of the main bands from Beryl. So those are still confined east of 49, Cassville, Monette, Mount Vernon, Greenfield, Stockton, Osceola. We've been mentioning these same communities for like the last hour or so because these bands aren't really moving that much. So you can see the center of circulation with Beryl is almost now due west of Little Rock. But because of just the slow movement here, the rain bands haven't really moved off that much. Now, once it begins to shift a little further to our east, we're still going to be on the back side of it. Some pop-up showers and thunderstorms are possible almost, if you watch this very carefully. You'll see a couple outside of this zone, but right in between, almost like a large racetrack, from 69 in Kansas to 49 in Missouri. This is the best opportunity for some pop-up showers and storms. Now you can see there's a couple here and there outside of that zone, but the best chances are going to be right in between 69 and 49, going from Kansas into Missouri and back down into Oklahoma for some pop-up showers and storms. And we're not expecting any severe weather or anything like that, but like yesterday, could see some heavy rainfall out there, so do watch out for the potential for some flash flooding. All right, so again, I don't think this is updated just yet on the exact center. I do believe if you look at the radar and the motion, you can see that the center of Beryl is now almost due west of Little Rock. It's moving north-northeast at about 23 miles an hour, so it's sped up just a little bit, but not moving too fast. It's a tropical depression at this point, about to become a subtropical system as winds have dropped down to 30. And then we've got, by about 1 o'clock this afternoon, the center should be near West Plains, due east of our area. And that's why, because of its position here and the expanse of these rain bands, we could see some development in terms of those pop-up showers and storms on what would be the far western edge of Beryl. And by 1 o'clock in the morning, it's near Champaign, Illinois, and in a decaying state as it rolls into the state of Indiana. As for us here, it is mostly cloudy in Joplin. It is 69. It is dry. The breeze is northeast at around 6. Temperatures this morning are relatively pleasant out there. We are into the upper 60s and low 70s across the area. So again, if you've got something you need to get done, now's the time to do it, because we're watching that potential for dangerous heat heading into next week. Isolated showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms this morning. Now, initially, this round this morning is going to be where we were showing you, primarily east of I-49. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy skies and mid-70s by 11 o'clock. Most of us, partly cloudy skies today. Temperatures low to mid-80s, maybe some upper 80s a lot further west. And again, some pop-up showers and storms, again, right along the 69 and 49 corridors in Kansas and Missouri. Those will continue into the evening hours out there. Otherwise, the rest of us, partly cloudy, maybe even mostly clear skies, and then we'll all be mostly clear overnight, falling back into the mid-60s. And as we look a little further down the road, a little warmer tomorrow and dry, upper 80s. And then we'll go into Thursday, pop-up storm chances, low 90s. By this weekend, we're upper 90s, closing in on 100. And by next week, that dangerous heat is already settling into place. We're back to summer-like weather as we go into the triple digits with pop-up storm chances heading into next week as well. That's a check of your forecast. We'll have one more recap of your forecast, plus the news you need to know here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to hear how a group of high school students are working to find a cure for bird flu.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Oklahoma troopers responded to a report of a man lying on I-44 in Ottawa County yesterday morning. 63-year-old Edward Parker of Cuba, Missouri, was pronounced dead at the scene. Parker was found lying in the westbound lane, and it is suspected that Parker may have been hit by several vehicles before authorities were called. An Appellate Court ends the criminal case against the former defense attorney Winston Connor. This ruling brings an end to a case that began in November 2018 when Connor was indicted on multiple charges related to the notorious Oklahoma drug lord Slint Tate. You can read more about both cases on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. The city of Joplin throws a financial lifeline to future homeowners. The Joplin Home Buyers Assistance Program offers funds up to $40,000 per household. To qualify, potential homeowners must purchase a home within the city of Joplin, be a Joplin citizen, and cannot have an annual income exceeding more than $93,000 a year. The program will remain open as funding is available or until the application deadline closes in early 2026. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Isolated showers and pop-up storms along and roughly in between almost the US 69 and I-49 corridors. The rest of us, though, partly cloudy and warm today into the low to mid 80s. Those isolated shower storms continuing into the evening along and east of Highway 69, and then will begin to clear out across the area, falling back into the mid 60s. A little warmer tomorrow, much warmer Thursday, low 90s. Pop-up storms, dangerous heat returns next week back to the triple digits, and pop-up storm chances returning next week as well. So if you've got things you need to do, again, especially if you're outside of where the rain is, now's the time to get those things done, because that dangerous heat's going to make it difficult to get out again.
Seems like it, especially Monday. 101.
Yeah.
Is it going to be muggy too because of the rain that we're having?
Yeah, it's probably going to be pretty humid out there. So we're getting a nice break thanks to Beryl coming up.
Yes.
It's kind of clouded things up, brought us some rain, cooler weather, but it is going to be a short party.
All righty. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making lane cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
I thought you said lame cake. I'm glad that I looked at that.
I guess we'll have to see.
I guess we'll find lane. I don't know what lane cake.
They can't all be
it
home
does
runs.
say it says lane. Does
Lane.
not say lame.
L-A-N-E.
Maybe that's me. Maybe I make lame cake. I don't know. Well, your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up, Anthony Mason traveled to Dollywood for a personal tour of the new Dolly Parton experience from the one and only Dolly Parton herself, who reflects on her iconic 5-decade career.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Pitt State students had an opportunity to hone in their robotic skills.
And Charlene Patton joining us in the studio to teach us another healthy recipe. However, it's going to do it for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning with awesome cake at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon for that lame one.